larvae there. But yeah, at this point, I mean, Calm is going to try to go. Well, he might try to go for Mutalisk Harass, but he is going to fall behind. He's not going to be able to build that third hatchery to inside of even in the two bases. Although he might try to do that. So we're looking basically at 2-hatch tech here, and 2-hatch tech for Zerg versus Protoss is usually done for kind of a cheese tech for an early aggressive attack. 2-hatch lurkers, 2-hatch Mutalisk, something to kind of catch Protoss off guard. But right now, Protoss isn't going to be caught off guard. And so I agree with what Moletrap says. I think that Pure might have already won this game.
Well, he doesn't have Sares out yet. He could catch him a little bit off guard if he doesn't realize what's going on, because he has not gotten a probe in Calm's base for like 20 years or so. So he doesn't know exactly what's going on. He's got the Stargate warping in, and he's gonna have like basically a Corsair when the mutas pop, is what it looks like, and he's gonna have six mutas are gonna come out here. So he could theoretically affect some damage. He's only got the one cannon at his door. I don't think he has any cannons actually by his bases to protect against anything. He's just got a single Dragoon. He's got one Dragoon and one Corsair to deal with these mutas. He could actually do some damage, and if he does enough, he could theoretically get back into the game.
Yeah, I do think Pure it would be wise to get a couple cannons in his base and maybe start producing goons. There's the first Corsair, but the thing is that, like you said, Calm, because his Spire's already up, he can just get 2 Scourge for that Corsair and the rest mutas. If he goes all mutas, he might be in a little more trouble. It looks like there's 6 mutas. Yeah, 6 mutas coming across, so he went all mutas. That Corsair can do pretty good damage against the mutas. Mutas are already in the base, though. They're trying to take out that first cannon. The other cannons cannot reach, so there's not going to be any support from those cannons, but the Dragoon is there, and there's a little support from that one cannon. So between the Dragoon and this Corsair, it looks like the Corsair is getting focused, though, so Corsair is going to go down. Does not pull it out in time, and this Dragoon, he needs to move the Dragoon towards his cannons. He's not paying attention. Got to move towards his cannons, the support of the cannons. He does have the Scourge now, so Calm is doing a great job. He's already taken out a Dragoon and the other cannon, and he's in the main now. Second gateway just now going up. There's not going to be any Templar coming out anytime soon, so no way that Pure can get Archons or anything like that. He does have quite a few Corsairs, so I think, yeah, he's got 2 now. That one Corsair can take out that Mutalisk by itself. But in the meantime, all the probes from the main base have been transferred, and there's a Scourge waiting for that Corsair. Just needs to go to the cannons, though. Support of the cannons, except the cannons are targeting on the mutas. But yeah, Calm doing a lot of damage here, actually. A lot of harassment getting done.
Yeah, that's one thing that I failed to realize when I mentioned early on that I thought maybe Calm lost the game, is that by Pure making that, Pure is also behind as well. I mean, obviously when you go for something like a cannon rush, you are committing to something that I think the problem is had Pure committed to the cannon rush at the actual secondary, I think it would have been a lot more effective. But he committed to the cannon rush.
Well, it wasn't a cannon rush. He was just responding to the fact
that those are all of his probes.
Yeah,
wow. Those are all of his probes right there. He is not mining right now. Pure is not mining. Calm has come in with the perfect. He's been microing his Scourge perfectly, keeping them back from the Corsairs when the Corsairs go to the cannons. And then, oh, he's just going to dive bomb in and kill off that one Corsair, going after the cannons. If those cannons go down, it will definitely be the game. He will not have anything else to defend. One cannon goes down. There's just the one left next to his probes, but he's got the Scourge holding off the Corsairs. The last cannon goes down. Zerglings coming in through the now open door to do it, and Pure GG's.
Wow, that's terrible. And, you know, everything I said about Pure, you know, I think his strength is, like I said, like unit composition and stuff like that, but his strength is not experience and consistency, and that's the problem. Is I think after, you know, the hatchery went up, that threw Pure off. Pure smartly used those cannons to stop the hatchery, but he didn't have a follow-up. He didn't know how the game was going to go after that. He didn't think about the fact that Calm could just get that many mutas in his base so quick. Because if he had, I think he had enough money to get a cannon or two. If he would have had a cannon in his expansion, even one cannon up already, you know, with the Corsair, that would have been totally different. His cannons were all at his front where they couldn't reach the mutas.
All he needed was one cannon in his main and one cannon by his by his nexus, and he would have been fine.
Well,
so just bad game sense, really.
He didn't have to go for the cannons anyways. I mean, you know, 3-base tech against Protoss is not a terrible thing. He had a good wall, and he could have just got the Templars going, which is what he was going for.
But there's nothing wrong with the cannons.
Well, I feel like that was something where he kind of, because he did that, and it's fine. We'll just keep talking about that. But I think because he did the cannons he almost had this false idea that, well, he did all this economic damage and he took out this hatchery. And I think that might be why, because he wasn't able to get the scout, as Moletrap pointed out. I think he had this false sense of what was actually going on in the Zerg base, and which is why he didn't make the cannons until it was too late.
But I mean,
getting overrun.
Yeah, but I mean, like Steve was saying, his game sense was off. We saw the cannons kill the hatchery, and immediately we all thought, oh, he's going all in now. But for some reason, Pure didn't know that Calm was going to go all in with something like that, and Pure instead just decided to go for a normal tech route as if the game was going to be normal and not defend at all and not make any use of the fact that he had just taken a huge advantage.
Right.
And instead just kind of decided to play a longer game. I don't know. I mean, that's kind of the way you got to play it a lot of the time is by, when you have an advantage, you use it to gain more of an advantage in a longer sort of sense. But I think he really should have just taken advantage of it immediately and that kind of thing. Especially with a player like Calm, who, lately I've been realizing even more and more that he's like a chess player. When he sees something that happens, he plans checkmate in 12 moves. He doesn't plan to take advantage of it right then. He plans it 10 moves down the line. That's exactly what it is. As soon as he saw those cannons, he went for Lair, blocked the scout,
right,
went for the quick spire, and tried to take advantage of the fact that he wasn't going to have as many cannons at his main immediately, and that's exactly how he played it. Although, again, if he'd just gone for a little quicker tech or more cannons, he could have done just as well. But
yeah,
anyway.
I think it's a pretty simple failure by Pure, honestly. I mean, financially speaking, it costs 450 minerals for the pylon and the two cannons, and it costs 300 minerals for the hatchery. So that's not really. That's basically an even trade-off, but obviously Pure is in the lead because Calm doesn't have a third hatchery, which is normally what the Zerg wants to have. So Pure is in a big enough lead. It wasn't like those cannons cost him that much extra because it cost the same amount for Calm to lose his hatchery. So it's not like he didn't have the money to put cannons down his main. He just wasn't intelligent enough to do so.
Yeah.
So I think he made a mistake there. And,
false sense of security.
But anyways, what's the next game we got?
We're going
Zero
on.
versus Movie?
Zero versus Movie.
All right.
We'll move on to it.